Stop working harder, the physics of accelerating your success. So as you go about your year and your goals, I want to talk to you about an approach, a non-linear approach to change. So whatever your goal is, personal health, life goal, work, career, aspirations, hobbies, then this can help for you to make a quantum leap, a 10x leap, rather than an incremental leap in what you want to achieve with a lot less effort. May sound too good to be true, but let me talk about it. So one of my favorite books of all time is this one called U Squared by Price Pritchett. It's an amazing book. It's 37 pages. It packs a punch. There's no fluff. It's absolute gold with big ideas and principles. And some of the stories I want to share with you from this and my own personal experience that could help you to see things a little bit differently, remove some of the frustration and the pressure from you in achieving what you want to achieve, and showing you some big key ideas. So if you've ever found yourself working really hard for something and still not achieving it, whether it be, you tried really hard with your health and lifestyle or something within your business to grow, but you're still not there yet. Or if you're anything like me, where I work so hard that I make it look harder than what it should be. I feel like that's something that's been part of my identity, to make things look really hard in order to be deserving of it. Okay, sounds crazy, but if you're anything like that, then listen up. This is going to help. So for me, this book, in the first page or the second page where it begins, really kind of jumps straight at you and really packs a punch, where it talks about a story of struggle and effort and hard work not leading to anything, okay? And so what this book really talks about is making a quantum leap. So what does that mean? So in quantum physics, it uses language from quantum physics when it talks about how a particle makes an explosive jump from one place to another without any apparent effort, and it covers all the bases from start to finish, but without actually doing all the steps. Okay, so what that means is that we assume success is one step at a time. And when Price Pritchett is talking about a quantum leap, we're looking at jumping from like point 1 to point 10 without any apparent effort, okay? And he mentions that this explosive jump in your personal performance that puts you far beyond the next logical step. When we're trying to execute a goal or anything in our life, we're always looking for the steps, right? Step 1, step 2, step 3. And that's great. And we look at people's strategies, and I certainly do that too, and it really helps me to kind of get a picture. But he's pointing to something different, okay? He's really pointing to a different place. So he shares about relying on unseen forces. Now, what does that mean? Okay, it sounds a little bit mystical, that we're going to get some intuitive vibe and we're going to know what to do. And it is kind of like that, right? So what he's really pointing to is that an idea from our subconscious mind, some intuition or some luck, okay? Now, I want to share a story because when I was stuck financially in my business, for this online business, when I started many years ago, I was working really hard, not getting anywhere, feeling very frustrated and really judging myself, and panicked and had anxiety about the money situation. And I felt like I really threw everything at it. And I remember one day having a conversation with my dad, who had been in business pretty much his whole life. And I have to mention that, like, he came to Australia in his 30s, he didn't even speak the language, and he had multiple businesses in his lifetime and was very successful. So he was someone that really I could ask, that knew about business and about creating a successful business. And I asked him, I said, have you ever seen anyone work this hard and not make money? And he just thought, he went, so many people. And I'll never forget those words, right? Because it really struck me. I was like, what? I always thought hard work was the way that you get what you want. It's the way you achieve your goals and your results, right? But really, my dad said that, if you look at some businesses, they work very, very hard and they end up closing down after a period of time. And he said it takes a little bit of luck, a little bit of something that you're not in charge of, that you can't create. It takes a little bit of something to really make it a success. And so what Price Pritchett talks about in this book is exactly that, right? It's a little bit of luck. It's a little bit of something that gets you to make this quantum leap. And for me, my quantum leap was, I had this insight one day that I realized that because I was so stuck in my thinking, because I was so discouraged and everything had failed up until that point. So I had a lot of discouragement. I had a lot of stories about how things would pan out. And I had this insight about that. I could see that I had this story. And, I remember in a coaching session, my coach said, well, not everything you do is going to work out. And that seems pretty obvious, but for me, it sparked an insight. And I could really see my mind just kind of went through in like very rapid succession all the stories that I had in my head. And so the next thing that I was implementing, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to get discouraged, and I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. Because what I found was my discouragement would change my behaviors. So I wouldn't do things fully. I would already be like, day one, oh, this is already not going to work out. I can already see this is just going to be like everything else. And then I wouldn't be 100% in, right? I would be already 20% out. And as each day went on, I was even more out. So I wouldn't send the emails, wouldn't do the things that I needed to do in order to get the results that I wanted, right? And after that insight, the next thing that I was putting out there, the thoughts did come up, the discouragement was there, but I realized from the insight that, oh, this is what I do every time. Okay, I'm going to ignore it this time and let's see where it goes. And honestly, just that was enough for me to see that how much I was holding myself back. So that was my subconscious mind kicking in and giving me an insight to say, hey, stop stopping. Okay, not everything you do is going to work out. Stop stopping. And that insight radically changed my business and my life. Okay, and I'm not even exaggerating. It was a complete game changer for me. And not in all insights are like that, but that one really was, and it stays with me forever. The power of a clear mind. And that's also what Price Pritchett says in this book, is that clear understanding of where we're going and moving in that direction, taking action in that direction. So it's not saying that we're not working towards our goals and making the health changes, but we want to be open to unseen forces to come in for support. So often the best we can do is what we've done in the past. Okay. We're not, I always say the reason why I share stuff like this is because, one, we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. We put a lot of judgment when things don't work out our way. I know I did. I was judging my personality, who I was as a person, how good enough I was, right? And the truth is, we just don't make as much stuff happen as we think we do, okay? There is unseen forces that step in and make our road a lot easier, give us more direction, help us to have that quantum leap. So wherever you are in your journey towards your goals, I want you to find a way that you can open yourself up to unseen forces. And maybe that is getting more clarity. I find when I'm stuck getting the same results and I'm so busy and I don't think I've got time, I really have to pull back and stop and take a day, maybe it's more than a day, to just sit with pen, paper, go outside, be in nature, whatever it is, let my mind kind of uncoil and get more clarity, because it's from the clarity that we get our best ideas and our best direction, okay? And so this is, again, really tapping into the subconscious mind, but we can't use it as a strategy. Sometimes I do it because I know it feels right to pull back in that moment, but we want to be open to those unseen forces, however that looks for you. So let me know in the comments below, if you see the comment box, how can you open yourself up to unseen forces? What could you do to get a different perspective or get a different idea or an insight about how to achieve your goal with a lot more ease or without any struggle or very little effort? Let me know in the comments below.